Welcome to Museum Rush The Big Heist. Museum Rush was a kickstarter from Room 17 Games from the UK, so it's English. And in Museum Rush there are several playthroughs of it on YouTube or on the web. It's a light, chaotic game, and the Big Heist has several extra options. So what you get is the basic rulebook. I reorganized it a little bit. The Egyptian exhibit and the Big Heist museum from Museum Rush expansion. Also you get some stickers that are not very useful right now. So the Big Heist has following extra features. You get 3 new thieves with special abilities for each. Color bases, plot twist cards. Plot twist cards are you draw one at random, and that is a slight rule change from the base, and it's in effect for the duration of the game. There are event cards that you should shuffle into the deck. As you know, the Museum Rush has a single event deck, and every time you draw one card first, discard down to 7 cards, and then you play from those cards. It's a procedurally generated map. So you think it's all random, but you have some player agency. So event cards should be inside if you want to play. So we have the mummy cards, guard cards. These are from the base game, and if you want to play the Egyptian exhibit, you use the mummy cards instead of the guard cards. So put those aside. You have the loot cards. There are extra loot cards from the expansion as well. So it's lots of loot cards, but as you can see, they are all 1 to 5 million, 6 million, 3 million, 2 to 5, 2. So nice to have, but not the big fish. You also get the art of Museum Rush. It has fantastic artwork and making of, a small introduction story that you can read. These pictures and where they come from. Some have little references to other games and shenanigans. These are all most of them you see them in the game as well in the form of cards. As you can see, it's pretty pretty. And the buyers that give you bonuses and all the shiny things. And let's see, the mummies, more mummies, more mummies, and those that didn't make it in. And for the there was also talk of the puppets, but they gave the makers nightmares. So better not to include them. And there is a little a comic book art style. Well, this is very nice. It doesn't play a role at all, but it's a nice bonus. So, since we are playing the mummies, we also have the spell cards. They go on top of the well, they go into the deck. The rare treasures, they all have a location, and the location is well, it's described on the floor plan. So you shouldn't shuffle these in. The lure cards, there are also disable cards, take down cards, booby trap. These are all from the base game. Way out cards are also the purple cards, so you also shuffle them in. And yeah, and there are camera cards and clock cards. For a solo player, the museum of the big heist also has special enemy characters that you can use. The head guard, curator, and the pharaoh queen. The pharaoh queen is only used when you have a plot twist that specifies the pharaoh queen. So it gives a lot of variability. So there's a draw deck and there's a seed deck for setting up the grid. It's, as I said, procedurally generated. For a solo play, you have 5-6 players. For solo play modes, you have this part. That means 2 clocks in enter the game. So to shuffle well, because you draw from a single deck, I will make 2 shuffle first, then make 2 stacks, and for each stack insert a clock card, and then shuffle those 2 piles and put them on top of each other. And that means that in the first half there is a clock card, and in the second half there is a clock card. So in worst case you have half the deck to burn through, and in the longest case you have the whole deck. Right. So you can also play with playable guards. That's about it. Doesn't help very much. So for the Egyptian exhibit, you have well, the 9 mummies, the 9 room tiles. You remove the grand exhibit, ladies, lost and found, ice collection, and vault from the normal room tiles from the base game. But the problem is that if you get busted, the cards you hold go to the vault, and in lost and found for in the vault for the rare treasures, and lost and found for the other cards, except for one that you can keep. It's here not described what Egyptian room tile plays the role of the lost and found and vault, so you have to house rule that. That's a little bit annoying. And from the rare treasures you leave out the crown diamonds. That's mostly it. And there, instead of keys to crack safes, well, the AI doesn't drop keys if you destroy the miniature, but it drops trinkets, and trinkets are not only used for an auto success in the cracking the safes, but also it's worth 1 million. You don't get kicked out, but you get placed into the sacrificial altar. And Necronomicon and the moving walkway have special rules, but these are on the tile itself. So I really wish they would explain the lost and found in vault. And there is also the spells. The spells should be also included in the draw deck. So yeah, that's taking longer than I thought. So for setup, we go back to the normal rule. Fill the museum. So you have the camera cards, guard cards, and the loot cards. Okay. The guard cards are the mummy cards. So the camera cards go here. You keep the camera and guard cards. Well, not the guard cards, of course, but the mummy cards. So these go away. So we have this. Now we also need the loot cards. That's all this. Okay. As you can see, the loot cards have a special diamond. It's not explained in the rulebook, but it's pretty clear. And the color of the diamond gives the indicates if the buyer that you sell your loot to later, if you escape the museum, is willing to pay extra for. Let me search. This one. A first world problem. Yeah, so you have the buyer. So this one gives extra for purple things. So you don't have to look for a horse and scroll, just a purple thing. This one looks for blue. This one pays extra for orange, red, blue. For each mummy trinket. Okay. So this is obviously from the expansion. White, rare treasure. Okay. You don't need extra clock cards, and the plot twist, you draw one at random. So I'll take that out now. That's useful to mention. Let's see. Set up the game. Oh yeah, the crown diamond. You take that out for the expansion. What's this? The stash. Well, you have the stash. That's not part of the setup. Then you have summary cards, and you have lots of the usual suspects. And you can decide to play with half guard, curator. There are event cards. You should place the event cards also in the play the play stack. Okay, what do I have? Camera, guard, loot. Camera, mummy, loots, loots. Mummy and camera. Okay, so now we can we should shuffle this first. And once you have shuffled this, you can also use the table. Because you haven't set up the map yet, so you can, like this is the best way to shuffle things. And these are part of the generation of the you can riffle shuffle, and the cards are extremely good quality. They are linen finish. You can't really see it, but so this is for the grid. Now we have the play deck. So if I had editing software, I would have fast forwarded it. So you shuffle this really well, or however you want. You make 2 stacks. So like more or less the same. Put in the clock. Shuffle this. So now you have more or less evenly distributed event pile. You put them simply on top. Now for the exhibit, follow the instructions. So you have to just shuffle this, place the should be like so. And so on. So yeah, the Mummy exhibition should have JSON tiles, so no stuff in between. Well, you set up the grid as in instructions, and then you place the what is this? This is the deck of the cards. Okay. Obviously the ground exhibits shouldn't be there. So the Judith room. There should be always 28 cards. There are, for the completionists among us, several campaign-esque ways to this looks a bit messy, but normally you can easily fit this game into a 70 by 70 centimeters table. So international crime spree. So for solo you can also do this at Acropolis, at the British Museum. I played a Rijksmuseum this morning and got 56 million out of it. Sounds like a lot, but what you have for the scoring, you can go to over 80. Legendary Lawbreaker, and you can try to get at least one score with all of the 9 thieves. And if you like this game, you can spend a few months of your life. Now, the cards go like this, 2 on each. Says the rule book, and then it says to turn them over. So what you do is 1 each. And then, place up the other one. And whenever you see a mummy like this, you remove it and place one of the mummies instead on the card. So this spawns 7 mummies, and then you can select where you want to enter. For example, you have something like this, you enter on the side. You don't want to copy on a camera, but let's say this doesn't have a camera. It has loads. And then you after you place the cards, you take the rare treasures, find FL gallery and souvenirs, and so burial, Necronomicon, Pharaoh chamber, temporary display.